fun yet? Good. I like to hear that. Yeah. You ran out?
It won't be delivered till tomorrow.
Yeah, that happens. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. We found a reader? No. Okay, first off, Steiner decided that they were gonna sell their business, so I had to go look for a job. So I'm like, hair dye, shave, we're good.
It's okay to admit that she just.
Andrew had one at his party at your place.
And they looked after that picture. That's cool. That's what it's all about right there.
We have people take care of that. We get home pretty quick. I bought a case of these fuzzies. I keep on forgetting to bring them in. Two.
All right. I'd like to call the town council meeting order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Marker will read the names of the officers that have been murdered since our last meeting.
Lieutenant James Kowski of the Hometown Police Department, Illinois. End of watch Saturday, April 3rd, cause of death, vehicular assault. Sergeant James Smith of the Iowa State Police. End of watch Friday, April 9th, cause of death, gunfire.
Do we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Jim Marker,
I am present.
Councilmember Larry Balla,
Present.
Council President Rick Rifa,
Present.
Councilmember Melissa Robbins.
Present.
Councilmember Tony Hobson.
Present.
All right. Each member has received a copy of the minutes from April 6th. What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. Could we have the claims, please?
Claims 32604 to 32956 in the amount of $2,015,691.11.
I make a motion to approve the claims as read. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. We have the announcements, please.
We have one announcement tonight. The next town council meeting will be on Tuesday, April 20th at 7 p.m. There will be a study session before the meeting at 6:30 and one will follow if necessary.
Very good. Do we have any communications? All right, there are no communications. Anybody have any public comment on the item on the agenda? All right, we'll go straight to that item. The Redevelopment Commission financial report for last year. We have Parker from Reedy Financial will give a brief synopsis of that report. This was presented in full at the Redevelopment Commission at the end of the March meeting, and they are just forwarding this report for the town council to accept.
Yep. Perfect. So yeah, I'll jump to this real quick, guys. And if at any point anyone has any questions, feel free to just let me know and I'll be happy to answer. So does the council have the report in front of them by chance?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just run through this and sounds good. All right, so jumping through, just start on page 3. First 2 pages, formalities. Just for your guys' knowledge, this is the annual reporting requirements that are owed by Griffith Redevelopment Commission for the year. Just to clarify, this one that we're looking at tonight is the April 15th reporting requirement. Moving forward, page 4 is going to be a list of the commissioners of the officers and then allocation areas for Griffith RDC. Moving forward, page 5 and 6 are going to be monthly cash balance or monthly cash flows for each of the RDC's funds. You'll notice that there was a negative balance there for a few months on page 5, but with the way the banking system works and everything, as long as it is a positive balance at the end of the year, there's no issues at all. So skipping to page 7 now. This is kind of the bread and the butter of this report, or the heart of it. It's going to be the financial summary for 2020 for Fund 459. You see, you started the year with $163,000. After this account right here, you see it collects majority of the TIF revenues. However, this is the fund that we focus on the bond with, the revenue bond from 2014. So we see that basically it was a wash of revenues and expenses. We ended the year with $154,000. Moving on to page 8, we have Fund 460, beginning cash balance for the year of $53,000. Because we're focusing on the bond and the other fund, we allowed this one to accrue a cash balance. So we see that this fund ended the year with a little over $100,000. Stepping on to the next fund, we have the redevelopment non-reverting fund. What this fund is, it's going to be any of the rental revenue that for any properties owned by the RDC, any rent payments, that's where these are going to go. So we see we had just under $50,000 in rental revenue for the year. Professional services there at the bottom, total spending of $60,000. You ended the year with $108,000 in that account.
Just to elaborate a little bit on the revenue, for those that may not be aware, that revenue is primarily for the billboard and the cell tower at the golf course, which is owned by the redevelopment commission. So,
all right, thanks, Rick. Page 10 is just going to be a contracts page. This is a page that we keep in all our reports for the redevelopment commission. Obviously, you can see that there's none that quite need to be added to date. But however, in the future, if there's any that come up to where there's a contractor working for the redevelopment commission, those will be added to this page. Next, moving on to page 11, this is going to be the debt overview page for 2020. Really, the two most important columns to look at are going to be on the far right. It's the amount owed by the RDC for the year, and then the actual amount paid by the RDC for the year. You can see that the RDC did meet its obligation for 2020, so no issues there at all. Next, for the rest of this document is going to be the parcel list for each parcel that is within the Griffith Redevelopment Commission's districts. I'd be happy to go through parcel by parcel, but for the sake of time, I'll sum it up. Basically, it's just going to be any parcel number and then the taxpayer name, and then just the breakdowns of the assessed values. So the most important one for the Redevelopment Commission is going to be the column on the far right, the incremental AV number. That's the number that's used to calculate any TIF revenue that the RDC is able to collect twice throughout the year. That's going to run through that report. As Rick said, this has been approved by the RDC. It's already been run by them. So now it's brought to the council for approval, and then we'll get it on Gateway and move on to the next reporting requirement.
all right, I'll entertain a motion to approve this report as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Parker. All right, the only other item is a pending item on there. We are still working forward very quickly with the sidewalk replacement program. We anticipate construction to start hopefully by the end of the summer. Probably looking at anywhere from 18 months to 24 months for full completion. Again, just about 80% of the town had been rated as in need of replacement of full sidewalks. So we will, we're prioritizing accordingly. The engineers will set the schedule of where to begin in town, and then they'll be controlling on various things that go out there. So we're working through a lot of issues with potential tree issues, driveway aprons, anything else that might be involved with ripping out a sidewalk and putting a new one in. So we anticipate next week to roll out the details of the bond requirements for that, and we will move on from there. So this time, anybody have any public comment? Yes.
I'm Bill Marvel, Jr. Just one thing, I read about it in the paper a couple months ago, and I know I can take this up with the water department, but I never paid attention to my water bill, just looked at the number and sent it in. But I've read it, are the water meters being replaced at some point?
Yes, we've had an issue, and the more we learn about it, the more we learn how bad our previous company was with some of their product. So with the company we had 10-year warranties on, but water meter has two components. One is the water meter itself, and on top of it's called a radio head that signals out to the street when we drive by to pick up the signals. We've had several thousand fail prematurely that started prior to March. It was back in 2019. So we had a program put in place, probably got 1,000 replaced, but then we halted it in March of 2020 because of COVID. And during that time, we've had another 1,400 or 2,000 fail. So some of them are going to be under warranty, some of them aren't. Based on the recommendation from both financial people and the engineers and other ones that looked at it, we're going to do a full replacement of the water meters. And then everything will get cleared up. But what we strongly encourage is if anybody is getting an estimated bill, to please call in your reading. Because if you don't, when it finally gets read, you could have a really big bill. So.
Yeah, I was informed I was a couple $100 behind and I was one of the lucky ones.
Okay.
I paying attention to it now.
Okay. But the meters are reading correctly. They're just not reading out to the street for us to get the thing. So we have been going into some houses, which has been fortunate. A lot of our residents have allowed our meter reader to go in there. So we've been getting actual readings if they're unable to do it yourself. And we just recommend the best thing, just take a picture of it, send an if you can attach it to an email, send it to the clerk treasurer's office, or take a picture and bring it in, or call it in. And then in case some people have difficulty reading the different numbers on there. So, but that, we're working on putting together a bid proposal with the engineers right now. Hopefully within the next month or two, we will have that out and start taking bids for the water meter replacement. So, all right. Very good. Anybody else have a comment or question?